Hey kids, it's me, Teacher A. In this video, we're going to use Euler diagrams to determine the validity of a given categorical syllogism. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let's start. By the way, what is a categorical syllogism? Here, a categorical syllogism is an argument consisting of exactly three categorical propositions, okay? Two premises and a conclusion. Here are some examples of categorical syllogisms, okay? So, kapag inisa-isa nyo tong mga to, you'll see they have exactly three categorical propositions, okay? Yung unang dalawa, the first two categorical propositions, they are called premises, okay? The third categorical proposition is what you call a conclusion. In this video, we're going to determine the validity of each categorical syllogism here, okay, using Euler diagrams. In your module, there are three methods that you may use to determine if the given categorical syllogism is valid or not. Okay? In this video, magpo-focus lang tayo sa Euler diagrams. Okay? So, why Euler diagrams first? Because I think it's the most basic. Okay? Madali siyang maalala. Okay? You don't have to memorize. All you have to do is to understand how diagrams work. Okay? And I think this method will help you if you plan to take a college entrance test in the future. Okay, let's move on. Before we go back to our 5 examples and check which one is valid and which one is invalid, let me ask you first, what are Euler diagrams? Kasi ito yung gagamitin natin to check the validity of a given categorical syllogism. Okay, so Euler diagrams use geometric figures, okay? Usually circles or ovals, okay? To illustrate relationships among sets, okay, classes, or groups, or categories. Okay, so let me show you some examples. So I'm going to discuss kung anong ibig sabihin ng mga geometric figures na ito or ng mga Euler diagrams na ito. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, let's study first the Euler diagrams of our 4 standard categorical propositions. First categorical proposition, all S are P. Okay, so the two categories are S and P. Examples, all birds can fly. Okay, all students are good. So if you have this form, your Euler diagram looks like this. Okay? So, pinapakita lang dito yung relationship nung S at nung P. Okay? Sabi dito, lahat ng S ay P. So, that's why you see this circle. Ito yung buong S. Okay? Do you see it? It is properly contained in this bigger set P. So, mas malaki yung P. Okay? Kino-contain ni P yung S. Okay? So, please understand why do we have this diagram for the proposition all S are P. Okay? So, next categorical proposition. Here, no S are P. Wala daw S na P. So, can you imagine the Euler diagram for this categorical proposition? Ganito. Okay? So, anong ibig sabihin ba na itong shaded na ito? Ibig sabihin, ito yung lahat ng S. Okay? If we go back here, ito yung lahat ng S na nasa loob ng ating P. Alright? Tingnan nyo to. Dito naman, lahat ng S, wala kahit isang part nito na nasa P. So that's why ito yung mag-represent ng statement na no S are P. So if you have these two categorical propositions, dapat madali na para sa inyo ito. Alright? Okay. Let's have the other two standard categorical propositions. Okay? Here. What if we have this statement or proposition? Sum S are P. I will show you 3 possible Euler diagrams for this categorical proposition. Okay? So, ang pinakamadali nyong maiisip ay ito. Okay? Do you see the shaded portion? Diba? Ito yung buong S. Okay? Tapos yung shaded portion, ito yung part ng S, sum lang, some parts ng S na nasa P. Okay? So that's why ito ay isang Euler diagram for this proposition. Some parts of S are in P. Okay? So another possible Euler diagram for this statement here. Okay? This is also an Euler diagram for this proposition. Some S are P. Why? Kita nyo tong P? Okay? Etong shaded portion na ito, part din ito ng S. Diba? Okay? And hindi lahat ng part ng S nasa P. Ito lang. Okay? Where are the parts of S na wala sa P? Etong color white. Wala ito sa set or dun sa circle natin na P. Right? Okay. So that's why we have some S. So ito yung part ng S na nasa P. Let me give you the third Euler diagram here. Actually, etong Euler diagram na ito rin yung Euler diagram for all S are P. Diba? Because S is properly contained in set P. Basta totoo yung all S are P, okay? Totoo na rin yung some S are P. Okay? Please understand these 3 Euler diagrams for this statement. Some S are P. Okay? And then the last standard categorical proposition is this one. Some S are not P. Okay? So, doon naman tayo magpo-focus sa part ng S na wala sa P. Okay? So, first Euler diagram. Tingnan nyo to. Okay? Yung colored part, ito yung part ng S na wala sa P. Right? Kasi ito yung buong P, oh. Okay? So, yung nasa labas ng P, ito yung part naman ng S na wala sa P. Right? Let me show you the second Euler diagram. Here. Okay? Nakita nyo? Itong small circle, this is for the set P. Okay? Tapos ito naman, set S. Tingnan nyo yung colored portion. Ito yung part ng S, yeah, na wala sa P. Wala, kasi ang P lang, ito lang maliit na to. So yung nasa labas, wala talaga to kay set P. Okay? Now, let's have the third Euler diagram. Okay? Ito yung part ng S na wala sa P. So actually, ano ulit ito? There's another categorical proposition to this kind of Euler diagram. No S are P. Lahat ng S wala sa P. Pwede kang kumuha ng konting examples dito sa set S, and then you may say this statement. Some S are not P. Alright? Okay, so we will be using these basic Euler diagrams to prove the validity of a categorical syllogism. Okay, let's start. This is the first example. Okay, this is the first categorical proposition. All prisms are plane figures. Okay, so balik kayo doon sa ating basic Euler diagrams. Yan yung pinakauna nating Euler diagram. So, let us let P be the set of prisms. Okay, and then let's let F, the set F for the set of plane figures. Now, if I have this circle for the set of prisms, okay, nasan kaya yung set of plane figures? Yung capital F natin, the set F. Is it bigger than P? Okay, or smaller than P? Mas malaki yung set F. Right? Okay, now, we have a third set, which is the set of cubes. Sabi dito, all cubes are prisms. Okay? So, we have a third set. So, let's call it set C. Kasi cubes, letter C. Okay. So, saan ko ilalagay or paano ko i-draw ang set C? Okay? Is it bigger than set F? Okay? Or nasa gitna ba ito ni P at ni F? Dito ba? Or nandito ba siya sa loob ni P? Okay? Definitely nasa loob siya ni P. Kasi sabi dito, lahat ng cubes ay prisms. At ganito natin siya i-draw, right? All cubes are prisms. Now, based on this Euler diagram, true kaya itong ating conclusion? Ano bang sabi dito? All cubes are plane figures. So, kapag dinuro nyo ito, yung set C at set F natin, dapat mas maliit si C, no? Yung set C, this should be properly contained in the set F, right? And if you check our figure, our diagram, yes, the set C is smaller than our set F, or set C is properly contained in our set F. So, totoo ito. All cubes are plane figures. Yeah? You know? Okay? So, we say the given categorical syllogism is valid. Ito yung categorical syllogism. Okay? May tatlong categorical propositions. Ito yung dalawang premises. And then this one is the conclusion. Okay? Let's have more examples. This is our second example. This is somewhat similar to our first example because if you check all the categorical propositions, lahat yan yung ating first categorical proposition, yung all S are P. So you're just going to focus on a smaller circle and a bigger circle. So ililet ko yung set of all leaders na L, capital L. Tapos itong good communicators, letter G na lang. Kasi if you check, may creative tayo. So yung C for creative na lang. Okay? So if I have this set L for the set of leaders, okay, paano ko i-draw yung G, set G for the set of good communicators? Is it smaller than L or is it bigger than L? It should be bigger than L, like that. Right? Kasi sabi dito, all leaders are good communicators. Okay? So, properly contained yung leaders. Okay? Now, let's have the second premise. Sabi dito, all good communicator people, so lahat daw itong G na ito, this set G, are creative. So, we need to draw another set, and this is set C for the set of creative people. Now, how do we draw set C, the set of creative people? Okay, is it here? Dito? Siya yung pinakamaliit na circle? Or dito siya? Siya yung medium na circle? Or siya ba yung largest circle? Okay? So, you check. Sabi dito, lahat ng good communicator people ay creative. So, definitely dapat properly contained itong set G natin. Right? Properly contained siya dun sa set C. So, that's why pinakamalaking circle si set C. Okay? So, now with this Euler diagram, okay, true kaya itong ating conclusion. All creative people are leaders. Try to imagine the basic Euler diagram to this statement. All creative people are leaders. So, balikan nyo yung all S are P. So, dapat properly contained itong creative people, yung ating set C sa loob ni set L. So, dapat ang drawing ninyo, yung diagram ninyo, yung set C, maliit na circle sa loob ng set L. Now, if you check our diagram here, hindi ganun yung makikita natin kasi ang laki ni set C. It is not properly contained or it's not inside our set L. So, we say this categorical syllogism is invalid. Okay? Kasi hindi nagpo-follow yung conclusion doon sa given premises. Okay? Let's have another one here. Okay? So, bakit ba kailangan pa mag-draw? Okay? Kasi, if you just plainly read this categorical syllogism, medyo deceiving siya. Mukha siya kasing totoo. Okay? Napakadami kasing ganon. Mukhang true, pero kapag pinrove mo using diagrams, hindi pala siya true. Like this example, kapag binasa nyo itong example na ito, mukha siyang totoo. Okay? But, if we use Euler diagrams or any other method to test its validity, it's invalid. Okay? So, let me show you why. Okay? Okay, so here, E stands for the set of educational games. Okay? N stands for stuffs that should be encouraged. Okay, so tama naman to. All educational games should be encouraged. If we move to our second premise, not all games are educational games. So itong educational games, meron tayong set na to. Okay, set E. Now, we define another set. Okay, let's call it set G for the set of all games. So lahat na ng laro ito, hindi lang educational games. Okay, so where do I put the set G? Okay, so what do you mean by this? Not all games are educational games. So kung papansinin ninyo, it's not in standard form. Okay, kasi hindi siya all S are P, hindi rin siya no S are P, hindi rin siya some S are P, at hindi rin siya in the form some S are not P. Okay? So, wala siya dun sa apat na standard categorical proposition. Okay? So, ita-transform muna natin ito. Okay? So, if you do that, not all games are educational games. So, kapareho ito ng statement na some games are not educational games. So, paano tayo gagawa ng circle G? Okay? Pwedeng ganito. Okay? Yan, malaking circle G. Okay, so anong ibig sabihin niyan? Ito lang yung circle ng educational games. Ngayon, yung mga nasa labas na nito, sila naman yung mga ibang games pa. Okay? So tama, some games are not educational. Ito, yung mga nasa labas ng ating set E. Okay? Now, if we have this Euler diagram, if you read the conclusion, not all games should be encouraged. Okay? Or ibig sabihin nito, some games should not be encouraged. Okay? Ito kasi yung circle na i-encourage. Ito. Okay? Tapos outside this set N, kita nyo ba? Ito yung mga nasa labas. Ito yung mga games na hindi dapat i-encourage. Okay? So based on this Euler diagram, true itong conclusion na ito. But you know what? There are other Euler diagrams for this categorical syllogism. Okay? Kasi if you recall, di ba, yung ating some games are not educational games. Okay? Some S are not P. Di ba? You can draw three cases kanina. Let me show you some Euler diagrams for this categorical syllogism. So I just redraw the first categorical proposition. All educational games should be encouraged. Okay? Ngayon, hahanapin natin kung saan natin i-draw yung G, set G, such that some games are not educational games. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng ilagay si G sa loob ng E. Kasi kung ganon, all games are educational games. Okay? So, do you believe that we can have this? Like that? O, isa-isahin natin dito. Pwede daw ganito si G. Okay, tama naman to, di ba? Not all games are educational. Kasi ito lang yung educational, oh. Sa labas nito, nung E, which is ito, oh. Okay, kita nyo, ito. Ito yung mga games na hindi educational. So, pwede to. Ngayon, with this diagram, with this second diagram, tama ba to? Not all games should be encouraged. Or, some games should not be encouraged. With this diagram, sinasabi kasi nito ay all games, kasi properly contained siya doon sa ating set N. Ayan o. Okay? So, sinasabi ng diagram na ito, all games should be encouraged. So, mali na to. Okay? With this diagram. Now, moving on to this third diagram, okay? True naman itong ating conclusion. Okay? Sabi dito, some games should not be encouraged. Ito yun, nasa labas ng circle N. Ito yung mga games na hindi dapat i-encourage. Moving on to our fourth diagram, okay? Okay din to, okay? Sinasatisfy din ito itong first two premises natin. Okay? So, kindly check, kindly verify. Okay? And then, if you check your conclusion, if you check this conclusion, hindi na naman ito totoo. Kasi based sa ating fourth diagram, all games should be encouraged. So, hindi ito. Kasi sabi dito, some games should not be encouraged. So, false ang conclusion kapag ito yung diagram. Now, kapag nakapagpalabas kayo ng isang diagram lang, na mag-false yung ating conclusion, you say the categorical syllogism is invalid. Isa lang, okay? You don't really have to draw all the possible Euler diagrams, okay? Sa next two examples natin, hindi na ako magpapakita ng iba't ibang Euler diagrams. I will just give you one Euler diagram that will make the given categorical syllogism invalid. Okay? Here. Okay, so let's have set G for the set of good students. G na lang, no? And then L, yung mga students that show love for country. Okay? Sabi dito, all good students show love for country. So it's very madali, right? Because set G is properly contained in set L. Right? Okay, like this. Okay? Now, let's move on to our second premise. Okay? Some students who show love for country are respectful. Okay? So, we have another set here. Let's call it set R para sa respectful. So, you imagine kung paano ilalagay yung third circle natin such that totoo itong second premise natin. Diba? Pwedeng ganyan. Yeah? Ito yung itong intersection nila. Ito yung mga students who show love for country that are respectful also. Okay? Sabi kasi dito, some students lang. So, ito yon. Okay? Now, you read the conclusion. Tama kaya ito? All respectful students are good students. Totoo ba? So, dapat meron tayong circle R inside circle G. Pero if we go back to our Euler diagram here, hindi naman ganun yung case natin. Wala tayong R sa loob ng ating set G. Right? So, you say this categorical syllogism is invalid. Okay? Now, if you ask, Ma'am, ito lang ba ang Euler diagram para dito sa categorical syllogism na ito? Hindi. Okay? Marami pang Euler diagrams kayong magagawa. So, you may do that as an exercise. Okay? But we conclude here, this categorical syllogism is invalid. So, once you're able to find an Euler diagram that will make the conclusion false, okay, automatically, this given categorical syllogism is invalid. Okay? Let's have this last example. Okay? So we have Q, set Q for Kizonians, L for lazy, okay? And then I think I for income. Let's have the first categorical proposition. Itong unang statement muna na ito. No Kizonians are lazy. So, ano yung Euler diagram for this proposition? Ito yung dalawang circle na magkahiwalay. Right? Ito yung set of Kizonians. Ito naman yung set of lazy people. Okay? So, wala silang intersection kasi no Kizonians are lazy. Now, sabi naman sa second premise, most lazy people have low income. When you say most lazy people, it's the same as some lazy people have low income. Now, isip kayo, paano inyo i-draw yung the set of low income, yung ating capital I, the set I. Okay? So, ito yung lazy people natin. Okay? Sabi dito, some lazy people lang have low income. Okay? So, pwedeng ganito. Okay? Again, this is not the only possible Euler diagram. Meron pa kayong pwedeng maisip. Okay? So, ito lang yung isa sa mga Euler diagram na pwede or possible. Okay? Bakit? Ito kasi yung set of people who have low income. Okay? Ito yung part na some lazy people have low income. Okay? Now, with this Euler diagram, you read the conclusion. Sabi dito, no Kizonians have low income. Totoo ba? Hindi. Kasi ito, merong Kizonian, actually some Kizonians, here, represented by this intersection, some Kizonians have low income. So that's why you say this categorical syllogism is invalid. Okay? So, all you have to do is to familiarize yourselves with the basic Euler diagrams. Yun yung mga diagrams ng ating 4 standard categorical propositions. Now, let me show you this. Okay? If you want me to make a video about this topic, just comment yes in the comment section below. Okay, I think that's it. I hope you learned something from this video. Please don't forget to like this video, share this video to your friends, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.